It's the end of the month, so it's time for me to put together my top 5 albums for October. Now, a month that wasn't as packed as August or September, but still great releases. And I'm going to go through chronological order with my 5 picks, starting off with an album that I never thought would make this list, at least not until I press play for the first time. And that is Avantasia, A Paranormal Evening with the Moonflower Society, out October 21st on Nuclear Blast.
I give the best of me, but all redemption I can see is a shadow in the mist of a reverie.
Never afraid, or so we think as we cast the unknown dark. We navigate by the whispering wind and the beat of the heart. And first we never run away, as if we never know what never ever looks like from up close.
Worlds imposed and we try to act upon. Oh, what have we become?
This is the band's 9th studio record. They are a metal opera project led by Tobias. And I must say that this record was much different from anything else that I've heard from Avantasia up until this point. This has always been a band that's gone perhaps above me. It just felt like very theatrical, very cinematic sound, a lot of keyboards, a lot of orchestrations, a lot of choirs, things that I enjoy in my music, but not necessarily when they are the leading roles of what the songs are all about. On this record, I felt like you took a step back, allowing the guitars and drums to drive more of the sound experience, to be better grounded, and using them as a springboard to how these songs move, to how dynamic they are within themselves and within the overall context of the album. And then obviously an incredible vocal performance, not just by him, but by the guest vocalist that he brought into this project. He's worked with them in the past, so there's that sense of familiarity there. But the way these songs are constructed, they're really constructed to bring the best out of everybody who's involved in this project. So this Avantasia record is my favorite to date because it's the first one that I'm able to listen to, enjoy, and come back to it time and time and time and time again, and it always sounds fresh to me. It always sounds alive. It sounds well. It has energy, has warmth. It's just an incredible sounding record, an incredible experience, and such an incredible journey to go through from that first opening track all the way to the last. Next we have Avatarium, Death Where Is Your Sting, out October 21st on AFM Records.
He turned into a butterfly and flew away out of this town, way away from Stockholm. A solitary trumpet plays for him, for lost and love somehow.
This is the band's 5th studio album. They are a doom metal band, and this record is very unique for Avatarium, and I feel like it's very unique for the doom genre. It's not every day that you see a record like this that is so dynamic, that it's so different from song to song, but you're still able to find the red line that connects every single track and brings the full picture into view once you reach that final song on the album. Normally records, specifically doom records, that are very connected, that are very balanced, become very hard to distinguish the forest from the trees. And this album is very connected, is very balanced, but it's still very dynamic. So they were able to find that fine line, that gray area between creating an album that has some consistency in it from start to finish, but still very diverse, showing different sides, not just of the band, but also of what the genre can offer. And because of that, and the vocal performance that comes with it, a vocal performance that didn't surprise me, and if you're a fan of Avatarium, is not going to surprise you, but it felt a little bit more organic. It felt a little bit more natural, a little bit more loose. Not as compact as you would expect the sound to be compact around it. Because of all of these elements, this album really stands out as one of the best doom metal records for the year. I honestly don't see too many records coming close to this one as far as the genre is concerned. Next we have Invictus with Unstoppable, out October 21st on Monarch Heavy. This is the debut studio album. They are a death metal band, and this is really Mauricio's of Cataclysm, his solo project. It's not quite a solo project, but it does feel like a solo project, a project that was born out of boredom during the pandemic. This album hits all the marks. I mean, it's absolutely demolishing record from start to finish. It's death metal, but it's not just death metal. It's melodic death metal, but it's not just melodic death metal. It's groove death metal, but it's not just groove death metal. It's a mixture of everything and anything in order to create an album that has a quick impact, that has force, that has attitude. This record screams attitude. In the sound, in the lyrics, in the vocal performance. It's a magnificent album. The clean vocals on this record sound phenomenal, really help to break the album and take it apart a little bit, reconstruct it, if you will, and define it a lot better so that you're not listening to a Cataclysm record. You're not listening to Cataclysm version 2.0 or XDO version 2.0. This album stands on its own. This project stands on its own. This is one of those albums that the moment you listen to, you know you're going to be listening to it for a very long time. I really hope Mauricio puts this as a package and takes it on the road. I would love to see these songs performed live. Phenomenal album through and through. Great sound, great vocal performance, great production behind it. Just an outstanding record throughout every single element that you could categorize on a metal record. Next we have Hoaxed with Two Shadows, out October 28th on Relapse Records. This is the duo's debut studio album. They are a heavy dark rock band, and this album has this unique sound to it. It's very hard to define what Hoaxed is all about, and it's very hard to define Two Shadows. When you listen to this album, you're going to get different perspectives of it depending on what song you're listening to, but also depending on where you're coming from. Your own personal baggage is going to play a role on how you're going to define these songs. I define it as heavy dark rock because there is some darkness to the sound, there is some darkness to the experience, to the vocal performance, and to the soundscape that is behind that vocal performance. But it's still a heavy album. It's not a brutal record, it's not death metal, but it's heavy. It does have a bite. The guitars and drums have a bite to it. The drums are phenomenal. I just love the drum sound. I love the execution, the power that they give the songs, the intensity that they bring to the table, and then the guitars are extremely well crafted in order to grab that energy that the drums have and allow them to explode together as one, creating a very nice wall of sound that comes at you song in and song out. The vocal performance allows the lyrical content to come to life. It adds to that darkness and to that feeling of darkness that the overall record has. So everything is matched perfectly. An album that sounds a lot more mature than a debut record. So sky is the limit as far as this band is concerned. And now last but not least, we have Fit for a King, The Hell We Create, on October 28th on Solid State Records.
It's like I'm falling through the
This is the band's 7th studio album. They are a metalcore band, and this record is very personal. And I think the fact that it's personal and the fact that they peeled the veil and allow you to see beyond the artist who the artists really are, what makes them tick, who they are as people, is what makes this album so attractive. When you do that, when you allow yourself to be vulnerable in front of your fans and create music that goes deeper into your soul and brings back out some of those dark components that you have within you, you're able to touch people that have gone through the same experiences but perhaps haven't been able to verbalize them, or haven't been able to find somebody else out there who has gone through those same experiences. So when you listen to this music, you're able to see yourself in the mirror, song in and song out. And when you do that, it's very hard to walk away from the album not feeling emotionally attached to it. And that is exactly what happened with me. The Hell We Create was an album that when I was listening to, I could connect with every single song. I could connect with what was happening, I could connect with the story that was being told, and I could connect with the experiences and emotions that were coming from it. Not necessarily because I've gone through those same experiences, but I can relate to them by knowing somebody who has, or been around people who are currently going through them as well. So this is an album that has great life, that has great depth, not just of sound, not just of vocal performance, because the clean vocals and harsh vocals on this album are phenomenal, creating the momentums of the song, giving the introspective side and the extra, the side of you that comes to the outside once you cannot hold it inside any longer. So it's an album that has great movement vocally, but it also has great movement sound-wise, super dynamic, super engaging, very fluid, heavy, melodic, dark, melancholic at times. I mean, it's an album that has a lot of different faces, but when you're letting yourself out there, when you're letting yourself be vulnerable in front of your fans, you're not going to just get one side of the band. You're going to get every single side that they have to offer from within their own personal experiences and their own personal individuality. And this record is a showcase of those individualities. Magnificent album through and through. This is it. This is my list, my top 5 albums for the month of October. Let me know what your 5 top albums are in the comment section below. I'm dying to check that out because perhaps I missed some. So it's always good to check and see what other people are listening to and maybe go back and check out some of those other albums. So hit me up in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on my picks. Let me know your thoughts on your picks. And I'll see you guys in the next video.